Hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, friends. Okay, so today's topic, right, for the webinar is do not implement safe in these five contexts. Yeah, so it's a bit interesting topic for myself. Um, from my this is going to be again another sharing of some learning from my consulting in safe consultings, right? So let us see why I will say do not implement safe in this context. Yeah. Before that, let me do a quick introduction about myself. I'm a safe program consultant, and I also enterprise agile coach. Right. My name is Jayaprakash Prabhakar. People call me JP. Right. I have around 25 years of experience. Started as a developer, and then I played the role of a tester and designer, whatnot. Right, and the lead and manager. I was managing a team of a little large team, when I was in Intel security, and then I moved as a coach in 2010, and I was lucky to get an opportunity to become a coach because it's the last 12 years or so. The journey as a coach has been amazing, right? So these are the few companies that I worked, as part of Agile and safe implementation. Siemens, Bosch, Gray Orange, Target, IBM, eBay, Intel, McAfee, Trivium and iQuanti. There are few. There are these are the companies that to a large extent I worked in the last 7 years also. After I left Intel, from my job, right? I started my company and then as a consulting firm. Till now, I've trained over 2,000 professionals on safe, predominantly on leading safe and I've done like 9 different safe courses, safe trainings. And I've trained over maybe 10,000 people on Agile. Yeah, launched many safe large implementations in the past. Right, and I'm married. Personal side, I'm married. Living happily with a wife and 2 kids and with mother now. Right, so that's my quick personal background. Yeah. Now, as a consultant, why will I do this? Right, those who know me, who I am. You would have heard a lot about safe, right? About from me, right? I'm a big fan of safe. I'm a big fan of lean. My company name is LeanWisdom. I kept a name of my company itself as with the lean title, right? And do not implement safe, right? I also promote this because these are the contexts where the context that I'm going to bring is going to actually impact your safe implementation, right? If you don't do the right job in a safe implementation, the safe is not going to give you results, right? So in today's webinar, I'm going to focus on what are those 5 contexts that you should avoid while implementing safe. You should take care of those 5 contexts. Or if your organization is in that context, safe implementation may not give you results. Safe is if you look at the safe framework, right? The top portion of the safe framework is all about business agility, right? Safe has a heavy focus on bringing business agility, right? Which means you need to get business results, right? It's not just a process framework. We just bring some certain process elements and practices. It focuses on business results, right? Now, if we need to get those results, right, we also need to be aligned in terms of getting the business results, right? And these are the 5 contexts which will not let you get the results. Yeah. Now, what is safe? If you don't know about safe is a scaled agile framework, right? It is for scaling agility. Right, how Scrum is for agile teams, for individual teams. Safe is for large enterprises, large programs. Right, we want to implement agility and lean thinking in building a product. Right, Safe is a wonderful framework. Yeah. Now, Safe brings in, right. If you see here, right, Safe is not the beauty of Safe. In my view, is Safe is not that somebody has built from something new from scratch. Safe is a combination of all the best practices in the industry, right? Lean industry has been in existence for decades, right? There are so many good things that we can learn from lean, right? Safe has borrowed a lot of good lean concepts, right? The lean budgeting, the value stream thinking, right? All those, right? And agile is a fantastic, the values and principles of agile drives the incremental value delivery at the team level, right? Agile is another part at the team level, right? Safe has borrowed that. DevSecOps, right? You can see here, DevSecOps, DevOps, right? This is another aspect that, which is critical for continuous delivery pipeline with the DevOps, right? Thinking, right? DevOps culture. Design thinking, right? Customer centricity and design thinking is another element that SAFe has brought in to enable an effective product management, effective product delivery, right? To continue effective exploration of the product, so on, right? So lean startup, right? Startup itself, lean startup is a great concept to validate an idea before you build the entire thing. SAFe has borrowed this concept and put it in a, platform layer, in a portfolio layer, yeah. And it's all about finally the lean agile leadership, right? At the bottom, right? SAFe has balls. It's a very beautiful framework that, it's a top-down framework which drives the leadership to, get the result, business agility. Yeah. It's a very quick summary of this. Right? There is so much we can speak about SAFe, just in that 1 hour time. I just want to introduce you to SAFe so that you understand what is SAFe and then what do you get, out of SAFe, right? Now let's look at organizational readiness for a transformation, right? There are 5 contexts that I said, right? I'm going to bring these 5 contexts here, and then we will go a little deep on each of these, right? The first context is, are the leaders with lean agile leadership, right? This is a context that where leaders are not lean agile leaders, and you want to implement SAFe. SAFe doesn't give you wow results, right? It's not because of SAFe framework, because the leaders are not aligned to lean agile thinking, right? This is one element of this 5 context. Second is, are we clear about the transformation goals? Do you know what do you want to achieve? Do you know what do you want to solve? Where do you want to reach a year from now, 2 years from now, right? That is the second part of it, right? Do we understand the transformation, clear transformation goals, right? The third is, are we ready for a structured implementation? Are we ready for a scripted move? Large transformations need to be scripted, need to be planned very well. It just cannot be done in a very ad hoc way, right? As an organization, are we ready for scripted move? Is a third context that I want to bring. Fourth is, are we ready as an organization for the change? How is the organization in terms of readiness for managing the change? SAFe, with a framework like SAFe, which is a scaling agility, it's going to impact a lot of people. Is the organization ready for change? Right? Not just leaders across the organization, right? Right from top leader to all the way to the teams, right? The fifth is, the question that we should ask is SAFe required at all for us? Is SAFe a silver bullet for us to really get it, and implement so that it will solve the problem? SAFe may not even solve some of our problems because it is not complex scaling agility problem. It may be a small agile problem, or it can be something which can be handled much more simple. Right? Do we really need SAFe? Right? In these 5 contexts, if you implement SAFe may not give you a great result. Right? So now let's look at. Let me start with the first context. Right? Okay. The first context is lean agile leadership. Are the leaders with a lean agile leadership? Yeah. That's the context 1. Now, look at this. Before even going to SAFe implementation, the details, and I want to bring some lean thinking here. Yeah. So this man, Edward Deming, he was one of the critical people in transformation of Toyota, right? During during and after the World War, right? Second World War. So he made huge impact to Toyota's growth. And the lean principles, quite a few real lean principles came from him, right? Along with the ex-CEO of Toyota, right? Then, so this is what he says about the leadership. What he says is, it is not enough that management commit themselves to quality and productivity. They must know. I want you to read this statement. They must know what it is they must do. The language is very strong, right? Such a responsibility cannot be delegated. Leadership role cannot be delegated. Leaders have a big role to play in a transformation. Yeah, this is the very powerful statement. So it is not that we need a blessing from a leader to do a safe transformation. It is we want the leader to stand in the front and drive a transformation. Yeah, that's the role of a leader in a transformation. Now look at this punchline, right? If you cannot come, send no one. What does it mean? You as a leader should come first and don't send somebody else as a proxy for you. Says, I am very busy, but I want, this person can take care of these things. It will not work, right? SAFe is a leadership driven transformation, top driven transformation. The top leaders have to understand what is transformation. Yeah. What is it I need to go through, what changes I need to bring, and what changes um, my teams will go through, right? Do I understand as a leader, right? That's what it is, right? One funny incident happened in one of my consulting experience, right? I went to a top leadership. I presented this slide, right? It was really the CXOs of the organization. Uh, you know, at least some 4 or 5 people are sitting there, pretty experienced, very solid leaders. One of the leaders told me, "Hey JP, don't show this slide to my next set of people, because if I show this, what will do is they will not come. They will also not send anybody." Right? That was it was a funny joke, but that kind of gave me a message to the about how the organization is structured, the culture of the organization. Right? He was making fun, but actually there was a message. Right? That was a pain that the leader was going through. Right? So it is a leader who need to stand in the front and drive the transformation. Right? So now, what is a leader's role, right? So leaders keep talk about we keep talking about growth mindset, right? It becomes a a wow statement, right? Let's have a growth mindset. What does it mean, right? You see the fixed and growth mindset, right? The leaders with the fixed mindset actually kill the transformation, right? Or they make sure that the transformation doesn't give results, right? For example, I've seen one of the examples of leaders is, I don't like to be challenged, right? One of the ones the leader was, again, another transformation experience, where one of the leaders, whatever I tried to do, he was questioning, no, this doesn't make sense. Why do you want to change? Why do you want this going well? Everything is going well. So his point was around everything is going good, right? And why do you want to change? Now, at some point, I asked him, why do you resist so much, right? I see that in one-on-one discussion, I asked him, why do you resist? He said, another 1.5 years or 2 years, I'm going to retire. Yeah. And why should I change? Right. And the second statement comes, I stick to what I know. I know certain things. I want to just manage with that and after leave. I told him, sir, your leave, right? But the problem is somebody who joined as a fresher yesterday. That person has to live a career for 20 years, right? And number two, the organization has to survive, right? It's not easy, right? Large enterprises can get closed in no time because of some startups, right? Things change so fast, right? So it is important that the leaders move out of this fixed mindset, right? Feedback is constructive, right? Am I ready to take a feedback, right? Am I ready to change myself, right? Am I ready to be vulnerable, right? This is definitely as a leader, am I there? Failure is an opportunity to grow, right? How many of us are really open to failures, right? It's important that we learn from our failures, right? And then we improve. Failure is nothing wrong as long as we learn from a failure and we improve, right? So now, are we ready to learn from failures? Or failure is considered as, oh, it's not so good, right? So, right, having a mindset of the growth mindset, right? I like challenges, right? I can take the failures, I'll improve. Failures will improve, right? I can learn to do anything that I want. I can learn. I'm a continuous learner, right? I recently have seen a leader, right? This is about a kind of startup organization where we want to build a cross-functional skill in a non-software environment. This is a pure, hardware-based, art that we launched, right? And then I was actually talking about in a PI planning, I was talking about why we should build a cross-functional skill, and then why you should keep some capacity for your learning, continuous learning. So this leader, one of the top leaders, he came and said, I can build this hardware, be it electrical, electronic, mechanical, embedded system, anything required. I can build by myself. I build it. I have learned myself, right? If I can learn, why can't you learn? You're all young and then you have more energy, right? Amazing message. And he said, you come to my house, you will see this hardware that I built is by myself alone, right? Weekend I do that, right? It's a great message, right? That's a leadership, right? So are we such leaders to drive the transformation? When the leaders with the fixed mindset, then it becomes definitely a challenge. Now, the next aspect to what do you say? This next aspect to your transformation from the leadership point of view is leading by example, right? Am I ready to enable, the decentralized decision making, or is it that I'm still the same leader, like, I will decide and then I want my team to follow, right? And software industry is a knowledge work industry. What does knowledge work mean, right? Knowledge work is something that how do you say it? Like, knowledge work is, if I'm a knowledge worker, I'm better than my manager. Right? I know more than my manager, and my team knows more than me. More than, they have better knowledge than me. Now, the software industry is a knowledge work. That means I am better than my manager, and my team is much better than me. Now, should I guide them for everything, or should I decentralize? Right. So now, how open am I for decentralizing? Right. This is one different, one critical aspect. Now, look, lifelong learning. Right. Am I enabling the learning? Learning is a culture, right? Am I a lifelong learner? Am I lifelong learning in my organization? How many of us read, right, on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, and share with the teams, and learn from each other, right? So this example, set yourself as example, right? And being authentic, right? How many of you can speak what you think, and then be very open, not talk behind, but in front of the people, like each other, right? Being very authentic, right? I'm very sincere, I'm very authentic about what I'm doing, right? And I can share what is there in my mind, right? These are some of the examples, the lead by examples part of it. Now, look at the right side, leading change. Leading change is, right? Am I leading the change? Change is huge. People don't like change. Human doesn't like change, right? Human want to, okay, there are certain things I'm doing in certain way. I want to just be, and I follow that, right? I don't want to change. Now, leading a change is not easy, right? Is my leader ready to lead a change? Right? And for example, psychological safety. If there is a failure, any change that happens, there is a failure. There will be some failure, right? So if you look at the things like, a model like a Tuckman model clearly says, when you go through a transformation or when you go through a change, it's a change management, right? You go through forming, then very next step is storming. There is no option of avoiding a storming. The moment you form something, the form can be a team, the form can be, you form, for example, implementing safe is a forming, new way of doing it. The very next moment you will reach as a team is a storming. Now, how do I bring my team to the norming and performing over a period, right? So that my curve goes up. Now, in this cycle, when the team fails, am I able to give, provide, psychological safety to team? It's okay to fail. Guys, don't worry. It's okay to fail. One of the PI plannings, right? I've seen a leader coming for a PI planning, and if you know about program board and risk board and all that, right? On the day 2 of a PI planning, the leader was looking at the board and he said, "Hey JP, I never knew that my teams are building such a complex system. There are so many. Like we had around 90 dependencies, right?" He said, that was the first PA planning, and he said, "I never knew that it's such a big complex system that we are building." Right? I told him, "Great, sir. Why don't you communicate this to your teams? Take a mic and talk to your teams. There are 100 people standing there doing a planning." At the end of the day 2, he said, "Guys, it's awesome to see the way you are doing a planning. Don't worry about failure. I am there with you." Right? That's a message that he communicated. It's such a powerful message that the team got super energized, right? I don't worry about failure. We may fail here. I will support you, right? Move ahead. Any support you need, you call me. Very emotional, connected message, right? That is called a psychological safety. Yeah. Am I a leader who can stand in the front and lead the change and lead by example, right? If we don't have a leadership like this, trust me, a framework is a framework, right? SAFE is an amazing framework, but it doesn't build culture, right? If the leader is not ready to build, the leader should be a lean agile leader, thinking on all these aspects and drive it. Yeah. So now it's a culture process can bring, like, SAFE brings quite a few process and practices and all these things. Agile brings process and practices. But transformation should be cultural-driven transformation. Let's look at what is this, right? So if you look at, some of you would have seen this, kind of a slide in the past. If you have worked with me or collaborated with me in the past. So the transformation always starts with the process and practices, right? So what is the process and practices? All the iteration level events, right? It's all process, right? Iteration planning, backlog refinement, iteration review, retrospective, daily stand-up. All these are practices. Writing a backlog in a user story format, writing a backlog in a, doing a story point estimation, again, some process, right? Go a little at the peer, at the program level or a safe, art level events like PI planning, system demo, PI level system demo, inspect and adapt, right? Bringing some metrics at the art level and the team level. All these are process. Practices. Engineering practices like, automation, unit test automation pyramid implementation itself, right? Technical debt removal, BDD, TDD implementation, amazing branching strategy, CA strategy. All these are practices. Is it good? Definitely it is good. Good to start. Your ultimate goal is not process implementation, right? Now, what is the second circle, right? It's more structure. Structure is process will give you some result. It's a painkiller in the beginning and it will give you some result, but you cannot just hold on to process alone. Now, structure, let's look at the structure. These are the roles, in a team. In an agile team, I have scrum master, product owner, right? Development team, engineering manager. So these are team. At the art level, I have RTE, product manager, product management team, system architectural engineering, right? System team. These are all further structure, right? I also build COPs, business owner, epic owner, solution. There are multiple roles, yeah. Now the impact in a transformation is much higher on a structure layer than a process layer, right? You do a wonderful process, but your product owner is not knowledgeable. You do a wonderful process, but the development team is not cross-functional. Or development team is like a waterfall team, like UI team and backend team. I still have seen some structure like that in the recent past, right? So if the structure is not done well, process will not give you much result. Yeah. So go a little inside and see, do I have a right structure in my organization? Is the leader's role to make sure that the right structure is much more solid, much more strong, right? I have right people doing the right role, right? And impediments at the structure level is removed. Yeah. Now look at one more circle inside, which is a cultural element. Now culture is even more difficult. Right? Let me give you some examples of a culture. So if you look at this, being self-organized as a team is a culture. It's not easy to bring a self-organized team. Right? It's a very common word that we use in Agile. A team should be cross-functional and self-organized. And this is the most difficult thing that I've seen. I have not seen, I have probably seen one or two teams in my life which is kind of self-organized, right? Otherwise, teams always need some support from people, right? And trust is a culture. Decentralized is a culture. Like quality. Every line of code I write is of high quality. Every design that I make is of high quality, right? Customer gets always high quality product, right? Learning is a culture. Every day I learn, right? I keep improving myself. Learning can be from my readings. Learning can be from my failures, right? Learning, innovation can also be part of the learning, right? I continue to innovate, right? All these part of the learning, right? And fail fast, right? It's very hard to build this culture because failure is not a great positive thing to people consider, right? Um, failure is a great thing, as I said, when you fail and learn, right? If you don't fail or if you fail and if you don't learn, failure becomes very pain, right? You keep failing again and again, it just demoralize the whole team, right? Now fail and learn, fail and learn, fail and learn and improve. Over a period, failure would have taught a lot of things, right? Are you okay to fail and learn, right? Now this is all the culture. Now if I want to build, let me take an example. If I need to build it, if I'm a leader, if I need to build a culture driven transformation, right? Culture, the organization is driven through the culture. Let me take an example. If I need to build something like innovation culture in my organization, right? And identify that culture that is missing, which is innovation. And I go look at the second circle. What is the role of a scrum master in bringing process innovation? What's the role of a product owner or product manager in bringing a product innovation? What's the role of my technical team, architect, right? System architect, solution architect, my technical leads, my technical team, in terms of bringing a technology innovation, right? I identify that. I talk to them. Hey, how are you going to do innovation? And now that I have the role which is aligned with the culture, they know that innovation is something which is important. Now bring the practice. For example, iteration planning, PI planning, bring a capacity saying that, hey, let us have some percentage of capacity spent on innovation. Let us show something in every iteration, do some small innovation or have some product process technology innovation in every PI, right? So it has to be inside out, right? Identify a culture, bring the structure to address the culture, and then enable processes and practices to really bring the culture, right? This is the role of a leadership in bringing a transformation. Yeah. If the leader doesn't think like this and just say that I want to implement safe, right, as a process, it's not going to sustain. Yeah. Now the culture. Another aspect of culture is, there are three kinds of culture that you can have in your organization, right? Pathological culture, which is more power-driven, power-oriented. Second is more bureaucratic, rule-oriented. The third is generative culture, which is performance-driven, right? Now, the leader should always, that you're probably the organization is maybe on the left side, a little on the left or in the middle, but the leader should focus on building the right side. Can I build collaboration? Can I build cooperation between the teams? Right? Can I enable shared responsibilities? Right? Ownership within the teams. Right? Failure is okay. Right? I'll continue to improve from the failure. I will make sure that innovation is built. Right? All this leader focus and step by step it improves is a culture part, and then bring the other two circle. Right? Then it will become a transformation. It will become a result driven cultural transformation. Yeah. Now, so this is all about, till now what I spoke is about lean agile mindset, lean agile leadership, right? A leader has to be enabled in these thinking, and the leader has to drive. If the leader doesn't drive, transformation will not be a great, a great experience. Yeah. First aspect, the most important thing in my view is leader being a lean agile leader. Yeah. Now, second is, are we clear about transformation goals? Right? What is the transformation goal that we have? Many times when the organization come to me and say, hey, we want to implement safe, and can you help us in implementing safe? I ask them, what's the reason behind it? What do you want to achieve? Right? Safe is a means of achieving something. Safe is not our goal. As a consultant, I tell them that safe should not be your goal. Safe will help you to reach your goal. Right? What is your business goal? What do you want to achieve? Right? So now the need for change need to be identified as a transformation goal. What's a need? Why do you want to say change management is painful, right? Because it's going to change everybody's way of working, everybody's way of thinking. It's going to be hard. It's going to be painful. Now, do I have a reason for it? What's a need for change, right? So now the need for change can be either a burning platform or a visionary leadership. Let's look at burning platform, right? What is burning platform? There is something which is not working today, right? We are failing to compete in the market, right? Inadequate way of running a business, right? We are just somehow struggling to run the business. Sustainability is a problem. Jobs are at stake. Solutions within a survivable, time frame, right? All these are burning platforms. Something which is really burning today that I want to put it off. I want to put off the fire. Yeah. So that's a burning platform. When you have a burning platform, transformation is a little more easy because there is a urgency to put the fire off. It's very visible, right? Immediately the organization will adopt a change management. Yeah, change can be faster. Now, this is one part, right? Your need for change and your long-term goal can be from burning platform. Can that be only the goal? No, it can also be visionary leadership. Right? We are good today. Visionary leadership is all about, we are good, but we want to go from here to here, right? I want to improve from 10x, 100x in terms of revenue, in terms of business opportunities, in terms of expansion, in terms of highest quality product, and so on, right? Now, it's always taking a stand for a better future, much better future, right? There is also constant sense of danger in terms of looking at the potential in long term, right? Am I feeling happy that, contented, everything is good? Or do I need to always challenge myself? Toyota as an organization, if you look at this case study, how they transformed is they always looked at there's something that we need to, there's always an area for improvement, right? We will focus on area, improve. So that is how it is not the language constant sense of danger should not be taken in the negative sense. It is all about looking up to improve, constant improvement. Yeah. So, and that's for a potential crisis, right? Never ending sense of potential crisis, right? And set a North Star, right? A long term. Now, I'll give you an example. One of the transformations, when we try to set this up, right? We want to implement safe. And I asked this question, what do you want to improve? They said, quality is not good, right? Or we're not able to release fast, right? We're not able to release predictably, right? Some of this, right? We want to really improve, expand our business, right? We want to scale up, right? To 100x, right? Some number. So when I got deeper, so these statements, right, said quality is not good. When I asked 7 leaders, what is the quality definition of quality? 7 people gave me 7 different definitions. So we had to sit together and define where are we today? Where do you want to reach? Right? Where are we today in terms of predictability? Where do you want to reach? Where are we in terms of productivity, delivering value to customer? Where do you want to reach? Right? So when we set this goal, now this became a purpose in a transformation. Right? This is what we want to achieve. Now we started looking at how can we use SAFE to achieve this result? right? The game became very different now, right? It's not just implementing SAFe as a PA planning. How do I use my PA planning? How do I use my system demo? How do I use my INDA to achieve this North Star? The North Star can take 2 years, 3 years, yeah, because our current state is not good, but it'll take 2 years for us to reach there. But it's still okay, right? You set the goal PA by PA by PA, we improved. After 2 years, it was wow, right? Wonderful result, right? So setting a goal is always important, right? So there are some of the SAFe has published some measures on what they have seen from their case studies. Time to market is one element, quality is another element, productivity is third, and then employee engagement is the fourth one, right? So this is the number that SAFe as case studies have proven that you can improve time to market from 30 to 75%, right? And quality from 25 to 75%, productivity from 20 to 50, employee engagement improve from 10 to 50%, right? On average, right? Now, my experience, right? I want to show some of my experience. I have seen a release cycle reduction from 18 months release to a monthly release in less than 1.5 years, right? The moment we set a goal, our goal was that we want to release, we're releasing once in 1.5 years. Hey, we want to release every month. We actually achieved after 1.5 years, right? Because everything around, like, our enablers, our, the capacity planning, everything, with the PA planning, a lot of elements we brought, the structure we brought, the CI/CD pipeline we brought, everything around making the release faster, because that was the goal, right? Another example is like, for example, we reduced from 500 to less than 30 open defects, right? In less than, and this 500 was always open for last 2.5 years. And they were never able to bring it down. We brought it to less than 30. Zero customer defect per release. Zero deployment failures. Deployment failures can happen. Deployment failures not visible to customer is what is important, right? You can have a number of deployment failures as long as we're able to revert back, right? Productivity, 10x more releases per timeline, right? Was releasing once in a year. Now I'm able to release every month, right? That means I'm releasing more often. I may release more content, right? More connect with my customers, more response to my customers' problems, more faster response. It is productivity has to be measured from the customer point of view. Productivity is not utilization of people. Productivity is delivering value to customers, right? So that's a productivity. And the fourth one is satisfaction, like employee satisfaction. I have seen in one of the organizations where the employee satisfaction index went up from 67 to close to 90%. It was 67 the previous year, the next year, because of Agile and SAFe transformation, the satisfaction index went up because of the right way of implementing SAFe and Agile and SAFe. Yeah. Now, this is the transformation goal. So set a clear transformation goal for yourself as an organization. If you don't set, the context is not set, and just implementing SAFe will not give you result, because we don't know where we are running towards, right? We just do a PI over PI over PI, and we just deliver some customer value. But it won't give you the North Star feeling that, yeah, we are moving towards it and we are achieving some great results. Yeah. So that's a second element, right? Are we clear about transformation goals? Now, third context, right? My third context is, are we ready for a scripted move? What is scripted move? Let's look at, right? What do you mean by scripting? Are we writing scripting for a movie? No, right? So let's look at the transformation, right? Achieving business agility and achieving the benefits of lean agile development at scale is not at all trivial. It is complex, right? Scaling is, when you said scaling, even at the ARC level, it is 125 people, right? We're talking about, right? So getting a business agility, aligning with getting the results and lean agile development, lean agile leadership, right? Is not trivial. So SAFe is not a trivial framework. SAFe is complex. SAFe is top down, right? It is complex, right? Now, implementing such transformation, such change management definitely needs a structure, right? Transformation needs a structure. Yeah. So let's look at this. There's a book called Switch, right? By Chip and Dan Heath, authors. This is what they have written. This book says, how to change things when change is hard, right? Change is hard, especially change is hard when it is more complex. Yeah. So in this book, they explain so beautifully that hardest part of the change is in the details. The paralyzing part is in the details, right? So transformation cannot be just say that, okay, we are transforming, and then it can be, it's not very structured. Yeah. So converting translation of ambiguous goals into concrete behaviors is a successful change, right? For that, we need to script the critical moves of the transformation, right? You need to really plan and execute, right? Step by step. Skipping a step can actually impact big in a transformation, right? Now, let me connect this with, a safe implementation roadmap, right? Safe has got this 12-step, very beautiful 12-step implementation roadmap, right? Let me connect you to that, right? So if you look at this, there are first 4 steps here, right? Reaching the tipping point. We spoke about, right, burning platform and, visionary leadership. It comes from here. What do you want to achieve as a goal? Once you identify, second is, training the change agents, identifying the change agents who are going to transform your organization, right? And third is training your leadership. The leaders, executives, managers, all of them get trained on how to lead a transformation, right? And then forming a lace, right? A coalition, a group of people who will drive the transformation, right? These 4 steps are the preparation for a transformation, right? This is the first step towards implementing SAFE, right? Till here, we are preparing the organization, preparing the leadership, preparing the change agents in terms of getting ready for the transformation. Now, the next step is when actual execution starts, right? Identifying a value stream. This is one of the very critical key steps in the whole transformation, right? Identify a value stream and an art, right? So now, this is where we go and identify, take a complete operational value stream and identify the systems, identify the development value stream, identify the arts. You may have 10 different agile release trains, in a large value stream, and then pick a right art for implementation, right? This step will help you to choose the right release train that I want to launch, right? So, and then come up with the next 2 steps, implementation, come up with the implementation plan for that particular art, launch one release train with a clear implementation plan and prepare them for the art launch. Then with now they identified the art, assume that the value stream has got 1,000 people. Now we have drilled down to the level where, hey, this is a maybe 70 member or 100 member organization, one art which we want to implement. We don't want to do all 1,000 people at the same time, right? Now that 100 people, we go through implementation plan and then preparation for art launch. This is the next step, right? Now this have to be exactly executed in the same way for you to actually identify the right art and then do a good preparation. Now, the moment you identify the right art, the preparation for art launch is actually a critical step, right, for your effective planning and execution, right? You prepare your art leaders, product managers, product owners, right, scrum masters, architects, teams through the training as well as a lot of preparation work, right? We do a little bit from year to year, getting the backlog ready, getting the tools ready, aligning the teams, making them understand the journey of lean, say agile and all of this, train everybody and then launch a PA plan, right? It may take from year to year, it may take 2-3 months. Yeah, it's good to, nothing wrong in, maybe even if it takes 2 months, it's good to take the 2 months time to really do some good preparation and launch a first PI with the PO, launch the art with the first PA planning, right? So that is, once you launch, this is where you launch, you train everybody, the entire team, engineers, and then you do coach them. You do PA planning and then you coach the art. So now this is the next step, right? I have seen sometimes organization decide, okay, hey, we want to do safe, and can we directly jump here? Why don't we do a PA planning next 1 month, 15 days? It's not a joke. It doesn't happen like that. Yeah. Even identifying a right art and identifying the right leaders and then training them, educating them, coaching them, getting ready for the PA planning is very critical. If we don't do things right here, you will see a bad results here. You don't get wow results here because our preparation was not effective. Yeah. So we have to be very careful about each of these steps. Once you do this, step 8 and 9, right? I launched an art and then I'm coaching this art, right? Coach art is getting familiar. PI1, PI2, PI3, they're stable. It's going good. Now launching more release trains, more value streams, and extending to portfolio and accelerate. This can take over maybe after a couple of PIs. Yeah. So this is a structured, scripted move in a safe implementation roadmap, right? Now, the problem is sometimes I see that the leaders skip some of the steps. Right? Hey, let's not do value stream. Let's not do arts. Let's not train. Let's directly train the art. Right? I'm the leader of the group. It's okay if I don't attend this. Right? If you can't come, send no one. Yeah, you remember that slide, right? So this is very important that leaders understand that. First, let me sit and learn. and then see how the organization is going through, and then help. Right? Skipping some of these steps looks easy, saying that, hey, anyway, we have an art identified, let's do it. It is not that simple, right? You probably would have made a wrong decision of choosing a wrong art, right? Because the leader doesn't know the power of this implementation. Yeah. So it is important that everybody goes through exactly the same steps. Yeah. Wherever I have implemented in the past, these steps exactly as defined, I've seen wonderful results. It just works, right? There is no, you can just close your eyes and implement. It works so beautifully, right? So if you're implementing safe, please make sure that moves are clearly scripted and it is done step by step by step. Okay. Great. So this is my step 3, right? My third context, that ready for scripted move. Let's go to the fourth context. Is the organization ready for a transformation? Is the organization ready for a change? Right? Let's look at some elements of, right, organizational, readiness for a change. As I said, change is painful. Okay? Change is not easy, right? Because we are used to a certain way of living. Why should I change? This question, and especially when I don't have a big reason, right, to change, I will not change. Yeah, it's a very common behavior of people, including the leaders. Now, organizational impediment, right? Impediments to organization readiness for change are some of these, right? Do we have these impediments? Please look at these impediments. First is there any urgency for change? There has to be some reason for you to change, right? Okay, no, let's change. It doesn't work like that, right? We need to have a clear sense of urgency. There is a reason, right? Once in one of the organizations, when I was asking them, why do you're releasing once in 5 PIs, this release cycle was once in 5 PIs. I asked some of the top leaders of this group, right? Why not every PI? Why not every month? Why do you release once in 5 PIs is what, a little over a year, right? 2.5 years, right? Now, then one of the leaders said, hey, let's not unnecessarily boil the ocean, guys. He was the leader who was talking and answering me. Let's not unnecessarily boil the ocean, because our market share is 52%, right? Even today, the market share is 52% in this product. We own 52%. And before I responded, another leader jumped in and he said, by the way, our market share 5 years back was 67%. Now it is 52%. It is all the more important for us to understand and be serious about change. If we don't change today, that 50% can become 15, right? Another leader actually helped me. And that was wow for me. Because sometimes people feel that we don't need to change because we have money, right? We don't need to change. Yeah? So the purpose has to be absolutely clear. Yeah, urgency and purpose. Now, the leadership capacity to change. We don't need leaders' blessings alone. We need leaders to stay with the team, understand what the transformation changes that they are going through, help them, go through the pain with them, not just only that, okay, I'm okay, you guys go and do it, right? It doesn't work. It's a good sign that leader agrees, but leader need to know the problems in the transformation journey. Yeah. So definitely capacity has to be allocated for a transformation, especially in the first, few steps, right? At least first 6 months, 1 year of the transformation, large transformation. Yeah. Now, middle management's willingness to change. This is another thing that, people don't know. The engineering managers don't know what's my role. Project managers don't know what's my role, right? At the moment they don't know, they have some resistance in changing, right? Why should I change? Because I don't know my future. So it's very important to address their roles. It's very important. The change management will impact some people, impacts for good reasons, right? Let's see if we can make them effective in the new roles, right? So because there are new roles are going to come in, like RTE, Scrum Masters, right? So the traditional project management will go away, and so on. So now, are we clearly making that clear, right, to the middle management? Without their support, things are going to be bad. Yeah. Ready for a Tuckman curve impact, right? The moment you change, don't expect, okay, moving to save, that means very next week, we'll start getting results. No, it's not going to happen. Change management is going to take you through some journey. It is going to give you some lessons, right? It is going to put you down for a short term. Now, it's very important that when I'm storming, right, when my organization is storming, as a leader, what am I going to do so that I pull my organization to the norming stage, right, as soon as possible? I don't want to leave them in the storming, right? Am I understanding for that, right? Am I understanding that my team will go through this and I need to support? Yeah. And it will have some impact on the near-term critical releases. One of my consulting engagements, the leader asked me, how much of time will get wasted for my team in the next 3 to 6 months? Can you tell me in hours or days how much The question was, how much of time, this was actually a question by leader, yeah? How much of time will be wasted in the next 3 to 6 months because we are going through this journey? Okay. The reason for us to move to the journey was there is somebody from other part of the world telling that, this organization should go through the change. This leader is not ready. So I said, I don't know how much of change, how much of effort. I can tell you approximately 50% your organization will waste. In your language, I am answering, right? 50% will waste. Is that okay for you? Oh, no, it is not possible. Then I said, first you and I need to talk because you consider this as a waste, right? It's an investment for you to make a big change, right? And that transformation, to be very frank, after 2 PIs, it actually failed miserably just because the leader did not understand. Yeah. So the readiness, right? It may impact your releases. You may go a little slow, but suddenly it will over a period, it will take off. It will go much faster. Yeah. Now, roles and leadership, restructure will have a change, right? Some structural changes will happen because you're going through transformational change, right? Be open for that. If you're not open, that's going to be an impediment. Yeah. Current state assessment and setting a target state, right? Do we know where are we today? And do we understand where do you want to reach? Like I was telling you about the goal setting, right? This is something that if you don't have clarity or if you don't want to measure or if you don't measure, that can become an impediment. Now, training needs and time for training, right? This is another thing. Hey, instead of 2 days training, can we do half a day training for people or 1 day training for people? We are not ready to invest time, right? When you don't have time for investing, no time to invest for such things, transformation will not be wow. Because we need to we are changing people's mindset. Yeah. The most difficult thing is changing by people mindset. Process will come in. People will not change. And these are all the structured training will actually help you to change your mindset. Yeah. So are we ready to spend time on this? Right? Spare time on this. Bringing safe expertise in the organization, right? Safe implementation. Sometimes I also see that, okay, you come and do a training and then you go and then, we will implement. It's not that easy. I'm not saying that uh, safe expert from outside only should come. Organization should have a safe expert to guide the teams. If the people who are implementing safe inside the organization don't know how to implement and there is nobody else to mentor, it can become a failure because scaling agility is a pain. It's not easy to change, right? So you need somebody who has done this in the past. It can be within the organization, but have an expertise inside in your organization for a change. Have a clear coaching plan. Support the leaders in terms of coaching, your scrum masters, your product owners, your engineering leaders, your teams, and so on. There has to be some good coaching plan, right? And the last point is effective communication to inspire change. Is leader excited about this transformation, right? The message you communicate as a leader, right, makes an impact. If the message is not clear, right, yeah, we want to change, that may not be a very powerful message. Why do you want to change? What will this change bring? What can how big we want to grow? Some inspiring message. Leaders have to inspire the organization, right? And effective communication. If we don't do effective communication, definitely that will become another impact. So are we ready as an organization? These are all some of the elements that I have come across. So, right, please look at it and say, are we ready to change? It is not just leaders coming in and saying, yes, I will do it. Right? It is not just the previous steps we saw, all of them are critical. Along with it, this is also critical to spend efforts, time, right? And then, go through the transformation. Transformation experience is not a straight line, curve line, right? It goes through, right? Some dip and then it goes up, right? In my definition, I keep telling this as my definition of agile and safe transformation. It is like Ayurvedic medicine, right? Ayurvedic medicine, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Yeah, it's not like a painkiller. I take tablet, my pain goes away, but it comes back after 6 hours and 10 hours. Right? Ayurvedic medicine takes time, but it cleans the root of this problem. Right? It clears the root of the problem. Right? It doesn't solve the surface level issues. It stops, it kills the root, right? And then it fixes the problem. Now, Ayurvedic medicine also needs certain discipline. If the doctor says you can have medicine only with empty stomach, you better have medicine with empty stomach for a result, right? The doctor says morning 6 a.m. and evening 6 p.m. is when you need to take medicine because sunrise and sunset are important. We better take medicine at that time, otherwise it will not work. Yeah. So transformation also need to be scripted like that. Certain things you have to inject in the system in such a way that it works, right? we do it our own way, you may not get results. Yeah. So these are all some of the impediments. The last one, I've come across sometimes this where is safe really required for your organization, for your teams, right? Sometimes safe is not required at all, right? But we're excited about safe and we want to implement safe everywhere, right? Safe is not a silver bullet, solves every problem. Sometimes safe can also become complex for your organization because it doesn't not required. Safe is for solving complex problem solutions, giving complex no problem, solving complex problems, right? Now, for not so complex problems, we want to really implement safe. Some of the aspects. Are you fitting into these guidelines? Look at these bullet points. If you are fitting into these guidelines, safe will help you. If it is not, then probably safe will not. For example, agile way of execution is key to team success. Great. Agile is important for us to implement at the team level. It's going to be success for our teams. Okay, first step. Second is agile is required, but not enough because I have 100 people in my team, right? In my organization. Agile is all about for a team. Every team can improve, but I also want all these teams to come together and then collaborate and deliver one product, right? So agile is not enough. I need something else beyond this, right? It is required, but not enough, right? Third is I also need lean thinking, critical for growth and sustenance, right? Because the large lean organizations have taught us a lot of things, right? I want to implement those, right? Yes, then you are inside these guidelines. Yeah. I have at least 50 people working for one single solution, right? One of the leaders asked me the day, I have 70 people, but there are 10 products, each team working on some product. Do you want to move to safe? May not be a reason to move to safe because they don't have to talk to each other. When the teams don't have to talk to each other, do you really want to bring them together in a safe organization? Doesn't make sense, right? You're going to create more complexity by bringing them to PI planning, bringing them to system demo, right? Bringing them to a common I&A, right? Which people will start feeling that, does it make sense for me to listen to somebody else whom I don't even have to connect with, right? Not. If 50 people plus working together for one common solution, safe will be the right choice, right? You know, Safe needs multiple roles, right? Product management, program management, architecture. When I say program management, not a pure traditional program, I'm more RTE, release train engineer, right? That kind of multiple roles required to manage each of these aspects. Now, if the organization is only 20, 30 people, for example, right? If the whole product is all about 20, 30 people, now bringing these additional roles is going to be a lot more painful. Do we really need this kind of people, right? That's another aspect. Yeah. Now, do we need to have a technology, business, other team to work together to deliver value? Right? I have 50, 100 people and spread across, the value stream has my technology teams, my product management, my system architecture team, my engineering teams, my sales, marketing, legal, whatnot, right? Every team, all of them, deployment teams, release management teams, all of them are required to deliver a value. Safe will really help you because it will bring the value stream thinking. If it is not, if you don't need to complicate so much because the size is small and you don't need so many, safe may not be the right choice. Yeah. Synchronization between teams are essential. If that is what is the point, right? We need teams to collaborate, teams to manage dependencies, teams to manage common risk together, teams to have a common guidelines like definition of guideline, right? So that we build one good solution, right? One common architecture. Synchronization between the teams is critical. Then we are fitting into these guidelines. If you are not, if one or more questions, more bullet points here, the answer is no. Think about implementing safe. Don't bring safe for no reason. It probably will create more complex. Safe is a wonderful framework for very complex, problems. It helps you a lot. But bringing that in a wrong place will also actually hit you, bad. Right? It will give you negative results. Okay. So what if your organization doesn't fit here? Don't take safe, right? Figure out some Scrum or Scrums, implement Scrum itself, Agile itself, may be good enough. Yeah. So now summary, right? Let me quickly take you through the summarized, organizational readiness for a safe transformation. Definitely look at your leadership. Is the leadership a lean agile leadership? Number two, do we have a clarity on what do you want to achieve in this transformation journey? Do we have a clear goal? The third is, am I ready to execute as per, as a scripted move? Am I ready to invest my time and in every step of the transformation as a leader? Right? Is my organization ready for change? We spoke about a bunch of points. Right? Is my organization ready for change? Fifth is is safe required at all for me, right? As an organization, answering these five will actually tell you, are you ready? If these contexts are not set right, leaders are not lean agile, there is no transformation goal, or we are not ready for a scripted move, organization is ready for not ready for a change, or safe is not required, I would suggest don't implement safe, right? It's not safe that doesn't give you result. It is the wrong choice of a wrong implementation will actually give you negative results. Yeah. And finally, it will become like, hey, the framework doesn't help. It's not a good framework. Yeah. For me, safe is a paper. I keep telling the leaders, safe is a paper. Now, how do you take this paper and implement in your organization makes a difference. I have seen a huge success in safe. I've also seen many big failures in safe, right? It is because of the way we implement, right? So I would suggest that, please look at these five contexts and see, are you the right fit for the safe implementation? Okay. Good. Thank you so much. I think it's another 3 more minutes I have. Right. This is our website and this is my LinkedIn. Please, this is my email, and please connect with me if you have any questions. And I'm more than happy. Now let me see if I have any questions. Okay, this is a fantastic session. I just hear one feedback, one line feedback. Unfortunately, I had to join another call. Okay, sure. I think Parsuram, thanks for joining at least for 30 minutes. And then, any questions that you have for me? Great. Thanks, Sharath. Great. Thanks, team. So, one good news I want to share. I know we were all moved to online, world post COVID. We are moving back to offline. We are starting with our first safe workshop, physical workshop. I'm going to conduct a safe workshop in Bangalore on 3rd and 4th December. And, if any of you interested, please join us. Yeah. So, great. So I don't see any other question, right? Suggest anything on service monitoring and management, ITL kind of principles. Okay, there's a little. So Rohit, please write to me, jp@leanwisdom.com with your contacts. I can probably connect with you and then we can discuss. Definitely, I see the question and we can have a little, deeper conversation. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you so much, team. And thanks for your time. And then, thanks for spending your time here. And then, looking forward to meet you again next time. Thank you.